There are moments in political television that people forget within seconds. And then there are moments that practically freeze time. Moments where the power dynamic flips so quickly that even the host, the commentators, and the viewers are left stunned. Today's video is about one such moment, involving television host Pete Hegseth and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Now, political television, especially in the United States, often thrives on confrontation. One personality tries to outsmart the other. One tries to dominate the conversation, and often the person with the louder voice wins. It's usually predictable. A host sets a trap, asks a leading question, throws a subtle insult, and the guest either falls for the bait or gets carried away defending themselves. But every now and then, someone shows up who refuses to play by those old rules. Someone who does not raise their voice, does not panic, does not crumble under pressure. Instead, they calmly break the entire strategy apart with a simple sentence. That someone in this case was Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. In this video, we are going to break down exactly what happened during that exchange. Why Pete Hegseth attempted to attack her credibility, why his jab backfired, how Jasmine Crockett delivered a 12-word reply that instantly shut down the confrontation, and what this moment tells us about political communication, gender dynamics, media manipulation, and the power of controlled confidence. We will also explore how Crockett's response changed the atmosphere of the entire discussion, how viewers reacted, and what lessons political communicators and regular people can learn from this moment. By the end of this video, you will understand why this incident resonated so widely online, why so many people admire Crockett's communication style, and how a single, well-crafted sentence can outshine a full minute of aggressive commentary. So, sit back, relax, and let's unpack this fascinating televised showdown. To understand why Crockett's response was so effective, we need to understand the setup. Pete Hegseth is known for hosting segments with a bold, confrontational, and often provocative tone. His style is direct and occasionally abrasive, which is exactly what keeps his audience glued to their screens. During the segment in question, Hegseth was clearly positioned as the aggressor. He framed his questions in a way that implied doubt about Crockett's experience, judgment, or credibility, a tactic often used to disorient a guest before they have fully settled into the conversation. Now, politicians handle these confrontations in very different ways. Some become defensive, immediately trying to justify their record. Others become confrontational in response, escalating the tension further. And many simply ramble, hoping the host will let them finish their point before interrupting. But Jasmine Crockett is not the type of political figure who reacts emotionally just because someone raises their voice or throws an insult. She is known for her courtroom-trained articulation, sharp retorts, and her ability to remain composed even in hostile environments. So when Hegseth attempted to corner her with a jab, one designed to belittle or undermine her, Crockett didn't flinch. She didn't stumble. She didn't even show the slightest sign of irritation. Instead, she waited, listened, absorbed every word, and then delivered a response that instantly cut through the noise. Let's talk about strategy, because make no mistake, what Hegseth attempted was not an accident. It was calculated. Television hosts often use what communication analysts call framing jabs. These include questions that imply incompetence, statements that subtly attack someone's credibility, sarcastic remarks disguised as clarifications, or tone-based insinuations meant to make a guest look unprepared. Hegseth's goal was to push Crockett into a defensive posture. Once a guest becomes defensive, the host has the upper hand, because a defensive person is reacting, not leading. They are on the back foot, they are emotionally vulnerable, and their words come out less fluid, less structured, and less convincing. But Hegseth made one miscalculation. He underestimated Crockett's rhetorical discipline. He assumed she would react emotionally. She didn't. He assumed she would try to justify herself. She wouldn't. He assumed she would fall into his frame. She broke it. Instead of taking the bait, she shifted the entire tone of the conversation with one short, controlled sentence. A sentence containing only 12 words. Now let's talk about the moment everyone remembers. The moment Crockett opened her mouth and spoke those 12 words. A reply so clear, so precise, and so well-timed that it stopped the conversation cold. Her response worked for 3 major reasons. 1, it did not match Hegseth's energy and it neutralized it. Instead of rising to the level of provocation, she spoke calmly and slowly. This immediately shifted the power balance. In communication dynamics, the calmest person often becomes the dominant one. 2, it directly addressed the insult without accepting the host's framing. Crockett didn't answer the jab in the way Hegseth expected. She reframed the conversation on her own terms. 3, it placed responsibility back onto Hegseth. Her reply subtly yet firmly suggested that the insult said more about him than it did about her. This is what experts call a mirror response, a reply that reflects the aggressor's tone back at them, exposing the weakness of their tactic. The moment was so effective because it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It wasn't emotional. It was controlled, intentional, and almost surgical. That is why the audience reacted so strongly. That is why the clip spread online. And that is why Hegseth was left momentarily silent. Some people might ask, why did Hegseth, someone who is rarely at a loss for words, freeze? The answer lies in a communication breakdown. Hegseth was prepared for a fight. He was prepared for defensiveness. He was prepared for emotion. He was prepared for a back-and-forth argument. He was not prepared for composure. Crockett's calmness disrupted his momentum. Her sentence deflated the confrontational energy he had built. And when a host loses momentum on live television, even for just a moment, it becomes very difficult to regain control without looking flustered. In that silence and that brief hesitation, the audience saw something rare. A television host caught off guard by his own strategy's collapse. Jasmine Crockett's communication style is a masterclass in controlled confidence. She understands several principles that powerful communicators use. Do not match aggression with aggression. Meeting hostility with hostility only escalates the situation. Respond to tone, not to volume. The quietest person can hold the most power if their words are sharp. Keep it short. Long responses sound defensive. Short responses sound confident. Shift the frame. Never accept a host's narrative if it is designed to trap you. These are principles lawyers use in courtrooms regularly, and as a trained attorney, Crockett applies them with skill. Her 12-word line was not a coincidence. It was the result of disciplined communication. The reaction was immediate. Clips spread quickly. People posted comments like, "She ate that up without raising her voice. That was the cleanest shutdown I've seen in a while. He didn't expect her to stay so calm." Viewers weren't just reacting to the words, they were reacting to the power shift. People admire confidence, especially when it is delivered without aggression. In a world where political discourse often devolves into shouting matches, this moment felt refreshing. There are several lessons from this exchange. 1. Composure is a weapon. Staying calm doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're in control. 2. Short answers can be more powerful than long speeches. A single sentence can shut down an entire argument. 3. Insults only work if the target accepts them. Crockett refused to internalize Hegseth's tone. 4. Confidence does not require volume. Her quietness was her strength. 5. Power belongs to the person who controls the framing, and in that moment, Crockett controlled everything. To summarize, this was not just a viral televised moment. It was an example of rhetorical mastery. Pete Hegseth attempted to belittle, provoke, or unsettle Jasmine Crockett. But her poise, clarity, and self-assurance reversed the entire dynamic. Her 12-word reply wasn't just a comeback. It was a strategic, intentional, and perfectly executed communication move. Moments like these remind us that strength doesn't always come from force. Sometimes it comes from precision. Sometimes it comes from restraint. And sometimes it comes from the confidence to say less and let silence do the rest. If you want more breakdowns, scripts, or commentary videos like this, Don't forget to follow the channel. Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and never underestimate the power of a well-timed sentence.